up the rook and traded the last pair of pawns.
And look at Magnus. You see the relief on his face. He gets this last game into 3+1. He can cut the lead down to 1 point heading into bullet. And Danya, that was insane precision. He found every single move that liquidated, that kept the advantage and let him win the game.
This is the Magnus that we know. And I'm not implying that this is normal in some way. Or, yeah, well, of course we're seeing this. Magnus is the only person in the universe who can win an endgame like this with 5 seconds. And he has been winning endgames like this throughout the whole SCC, and they're repeating this again.
Yeah, Hikaru keeps going back to this line, which seems to be more or less a forced draw. I mean, Magnus has never been in any trouble. But look at the clock situation. 3 minutes and change for Hikaru. 3 minutes of change on the match clock. So if Hikaru does nothing, this will be the last game of the 3+1, and he will retain a 2-point lead.
And he went for this at the start of the 3-minute portion. I didn't like it. He goes for this now. I do like it because a 2-point lead is still significant for Hikaru going into the bullet. And clearly he's found an improvement during the break. A4 rather than what he was doing previously, which is to prepare C4. What do you make of this?
Well, I think it at least gives us something new to talk about. But I don't think that there's much going on. Now, you have to be very careful if you're black because A takes B5. A takes B5. Rook A6 is a huge threat because you're removing the defender of the knight on D5, and the geometry is such that you could lose all your pieces as black if the C6 pawn falls. So Magnus has to be careful, and Hikaru, he just switching a little something here.
And a professional approach by Magnus. He takes as long as it takes to find what was the only move to maintain the balance. I checked. And now you are just in time. AB, rook A6. The rook captures on B2, but more importantly, it forces the bishop off of this diagonal. Hikaru basically has to bail out with bishop takes D5 check. This game, I'm quite confident is going to end in a draw. Just look at Magnus's body language. He feels satisfied and confident. He seems as engaged as he's been all match. More engaged than he's been all match.
He really is. And if you're Hikaru here, don't take any unnecessary risk. I know you're probably displeased that you had a 4-point lead. Now it's down to 2. And you're playing Magnus Carlsen, who can beat anybody at any time, right? Once he turns on the jets, he may never look back. But if you're Hikaru, he's just what he's doing. He's just going to spend a lot of time. He's probably going to simplify, make the draw, and then go into bullet with the lead.
Both players have to take a breath. As experienced as they are, there's going to be a lot of jitters to go around in the bullet segment. He does take B5. How exactly do we bail out without losing a pawn here? Because rook takes B2, Robert. And after rook B3, don't go rook D3 and allow B4. Move your king or move your F pawn. And this is a draw.
Dead draw. Rook takes B5. We just have king, rook, and 2 against king, rook, and 2. There's 1 minute remaining in this time control.
Yeah.
But there's no way Hikaru is going to let another game be played in 3+1.
It would be absurd to not milk the rest of this clock down, given how Magnus has played with the white pieces, and avoid repetition if you're Hikaru, or get a repetition going, do what he's done previously, which is to sit and then repeat for the 3rd time once his clock is down.
Oh, I thought
that's what he's going to do.
I thought you were saying do what he did previously and win a rook again, like he did against Nihal Sarn.
We had almost this exact structure. He was on the black side of it, and Nihal got himself skewered. I will never forget that moment from that match.
Wow, we are going to have a 2-point lead for Hikaru Nakamura. Now, if before the match you said, Hikaru, you'll be up by 2 points going to bullet, he said, of course, give me that lead. But I feel like right now he has to feel a bit disappointed. It's hard to put losses out the window, especially when they're recent, because if we just look at the last bunch of games, it is Magnus Carlsen who's been on a bit of a winning streak. And they made a draw. It is the end of the 3+1.